Lily Martinez held her father's hand tightly as they walked down the long hallway. She was only 8 years old, but she knew this day was important. Her father, Captain John Martinez, wore his best uniform with all his medals shining in the bright lights. "Are you nervous, Lily?" her father asked, looking down at her with a kind smile. "A little," she admitted. She smoothed down her blue dress for the 10th time. It was her best dress, the one she only wore for special occasions. They were at the Global Unity Center in Washington, D.C., and today was a day that would be in history books. The Xyraxians, aliens from a planet 20 light-years away, were making their first official visit to Earth. And not just any Xyraxians, their emperor himself was coming. Captain Martinez had been chosen as part of the welcoming group because he commanded the USS Valiant, one of the first human ships to make contact with the Xyraxians 3 years ago. Since Lily's mother had died 2 years ago, and with no family nearby to watch her during this week-long event, he had received special permission to bring Lily along. "Remember what we talked about?" her father said quietly as they approached a set of large doors. "The Xyraxians are very different from us. They have many rules about how people should act, especially around their emperor." Lily nodded. "Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't make sudden moves. Don't touch anyone. Stand straight and be quiet." "That's right." He squeezed her hand. "Their guards, the Krellvorn, take their job very seriously. They've protected their royal family for thousands of years and follow very strict rules." Lily had learned about the Xyraxians in school. They looked somewhat like humans but had blue scales instead of skin, were much taller, and had special abilities humans didn't have. They lived much longer than humans did and had been traveling in space for centuries before humans even went to the moon. 2 human guards opened the large doors, and Lily tried not to gasp as they entered the grand reception hall. The ceiling was so high she had to tilt her head back to see it. Large windows let in streams of sunlight, and important-looking people in suits and uniforms stood in groups talking quietly. Her father led her to a spot along one side of the room. Several other Earth officials nodded to him as they passed. Lily recognized the president of the United Earth Alliance, standing at the front of the room with her advisors. "The Xyraxians will be here any minute," her father whispered. "They are always exactly on time. It's part of their culture." Lily felt butterflies in her stomach. What would real aliens look like up close? Would they be scary? A soft tone sounded, and everyone in the room fell silent. The doors at the far end of the hall began to open slowly. "Stand up straight now," her father whispered. Lily did as she was told, trying to look proper and grown up. First through the doors came 4 tall Xyraxians wearing what looked like armor, made of some shiny metal Lily had never seen before. Each carried a long staff that glowed with a faint blue light at the tip. These must be the Krellvorn guards her father had told her about. They moved with perfect timing, like dancers in a show. Lily couldn't help but stare at one guard who looked different from the others. While most Xyraxians had completely blue scales, this guard had patches of green scales on his face and arms. She had read that this was rare among their kind, like how some humans had different colored eyes. After the guards came more Xyraxians in fancy clothes with many decorations. And then, in the center of them all, was a figure that could only be the Emperor. Emperor Zaxtal was taller than any of the others. His scales seemed to shimmer in the light, almost changing color when he moved. He wore a complicated outfit with pieces that seemed to float around him, and on his head was a crown unlike any Lily had seen in her history books. The room remained completely silent as the Xyraxian group moved to the center of the hall. The 4 guards took positions around their emperor, standing perfectly still like statues. The president stepped forward and performed a careful bow, not too deep, but respectful. Lily's father had explained that humans and Xyraxians had spent months figuring out the right greeting that would respect both cultures. "Emperor Zaxtal of the Xyraxian Empire," the president said in a clear voice. "On behalf of all humans, I welcome you to Earth." The emperor made a gesture with his 7-fingered hand. When he spoke, his voice was deeper than any human voice Lily had ever heard. "President Rivera of Earth, the Emperor replied. The Zeraxian people are pleased to strengthen the bonds between our worlds. As the formal greetings continued, Lily tried her best to stand still and not fidget. She noticed the green-scaled guard looking around the room, his golden eyes taking in everything. Suddenly, those eyes landed on her. Lily froze. Should she look away? Was it rude to make eye contact with a royal guard? But before she could decide what to do, something strange happened. The guard's serious expression changed just slightly. Was that a tiny smile? It happened so fast, Lily wasn't sure if she had imagined it. For the next hour, Lily stood quietly as the adults talked about trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and cooperation in space. Though she tried to pay attention, much of it was boring to her 8-year-old mind. Instead, she found herself watching the green-scaled guard. Unlike the other guards who stared straight ahead, he seemed more alert, his eyes constantly moving. Sometimes, when no one was watching, his gaze would return to Lily, as if he found her just as interesting as she found him. As the meeting ended and people began to move around the room, Lily's father bent down to her level. "You did very well," he said proudly. "That was the hard part. Now we have a week of events and you'll get to see more of our visitors." Lily nodded, but she was looking past her father at the Zeraxian delegation as they prepared to leave. The green-scaled guard was backing away, still facing the room as he protected his emperor. Just before he turned to go through the doors, his eyes met Lily's one last time. This time, she was sure she wasn't imagining things. The guard, definitely, gave her a small nod before disappearing through the doorway. Lily smiled to herself. Maybe this week would be more interesting than she thought. 3 days had passed since the Zeraxians arrived on Earth. Lily sat in a garden area next to the main meeting hall where her father and the other adults were having another long talk with the aliens. The garden was beautiful, with tall trees and colorful flowers from around the world. A small fountain made peaceful water sounds nearby. Lily was bored. Her father had given her some books to read and games to play on her tablet, but she had already finished the new book about space that morning. Now she was flipping through an older book about alien cultures that she had read parts of before. "Stay where the security officers can see you," her father had told her that morning. "Lieutenant Grant will check on you every hour." Lieutenant. Susan Grant was her father's helper on the ship. She was nice to Lily and sometimes brought her little treats. Lily liked her, but she was busy today helping with the meetings. 2 security officers stood near the garden entrance. They were supposed to be watching her, but they seemed more interested in talking to each other. Lily didn't mind. She was good at entertaining herself. She turned the pages of her book until she found the chapter about Zeraxians. She had read most of it before, but now that she had seen real Zeraxians, she was more interested. She read again about their blue scales, their love of rules and order, and their advanced technology. Then she found a section she hadn't noticed before, titled Traditional Gestures. It showed pictures of hand signals Zeraxians used. Most weren't. Very interesting, just ways to say hello or thank you. But near the end of the section, something caught her eye. The safety signal, the book said. In ancient times, Zeraxian children were taught a special hand gesture to use if they were in danger and needed help. This signal is made by touching the thumb to the middle finger while keeping the other 3 fingers straight. Then the hand is brought to the center of the chest. The book showed a drawing of the gesture. It explained that most Zeraxians didn't use this signal anymore, but the royal guards, the Krellvorn, still learned it as part of their training. They were taught to respond immediately if they ever saw a child make this signal. How interesting, Lily thought. She tried making the gesture with her own hand. It felt a little strange since humans had 1 less finger than Zeraxians, but she could still make it work. She practiced a few times, then went back to reading. After a while, she got bored again and decided to explore the garden. She stayed, where the guards could see her, but she wanted to look at all the different plants. Later that afternoon, her father came to get her for a special dinner. It was being held in the big dining hall to celebrate the signing of an agreement between Earth and the Zeraxian Empire. "You'll need to be on your best behavior again," her father said as he helped her fix her hair. "This is an important night." Will the Emperor be there? Lily asked. Yes, and many other important people from both worlds. What about the guards? The Krellvorn? Her father nodded. They go wherever the Emperor goes, why do you ask? Lily shrugged. Just wondering. I read about them in my book. The dining hall was huge, with tables arranged in a big U-shape. Lily sat next to her father at one of the side tables. From where she sat, she could see the main table where the President, the Emperor, and other important people were seated. The 4 Krellvorn guards stood at each corner of the room. Lily spotted the green-scaled guard standing near the main entrance. Unlike the other 3 guards who stood perfectly still, this one seemed more alert, his eyes constantly moving around the room. As servers brought out plates of food, speeches began. Lily tried to listen, but the words were too complicated and boring. Instead, she watched the people around her. The humans seemed happy and relaxed, but the Zeraxians were stiff and formal, barely moving except to eat in careful, precise ways. During a pause between speeches, Lily noticed something odd. The green-scaled guard had changed position slightly. He was still standing at attention, but his body seemed tense in a different way. His eyes moved faster around the room, and several times she saw him look at a door to the side of the hall. When the speeches ended, people began to talk more freely. Music started playing softly. Her father turned to speak with someone next to him, and Lily took the chance to watch the guard more carefully. Something was definitely different about him tonight. He kept looking at that side door, and once she saw him touch his hand to a small device on his wrist. A server approached the main table where the Emperor sat. There was nothing unusual about this. Servers had been bringing food and drinks all evening. But something about the way this server moved caught Lily's attention. He walked too stiffly, and his eyes darted around nervously. The green-scaled guard was watching this server too. Lily could see the guard's hand move slightly toward the weapon at his side, but he didn't draw it. It was as if he sensed something wrong but wasn't sure what. Lily remembered what her father had told her about Zeraxian culture. They needed clear proof before taking action. Guards couldn't just tackle someone because they seemed suspicious. They had rules about everything. The server moved closer to the Emperor's table. Lily saw his hand slip inside his jacket. A cold feeling settled in her stomach. She had watched enough action movies with her father to know what that movement might mean. She looked back at the green-scaled guard. He was watching the server intently now, but he still hadn't moved from his post. The other guards hadn't noticed. Anything wrong? Lily made a decision. She caught the eye of the green-scaled guard and slowly, deliberately formed the safety signal with her hand that she had read about in her book. She touched her thumb to her middle finger, extended her other fingers and brought her hand to the center of her chest. The guard's eyes widened just slightly when he saw her make the gesture. For a split second he seemed frozen in place, clearly shocked to see a human child using an ancient Zeraxian signal. His eyes darted from Lily to the suspicious server and back again. In that moment, Lily knew he understood what she was trying to tell him. But would he do anything about it? Breaking protocol for a Krellvorn was considered a terrible offense. The guard's duty was to stand at his post unless the Emperor was clearly under attack. The server was now just steps away from the Emperor, his hand still hidden inside his jacket. Time seemed to slow down for Lily as she watched the green-scaled guard. His golden eyes had narrowed and his body tensed like a spring ready to uncoil. The suspicious server was now only a few steps away from the Emperor, his hand still hidden inside his jacket. Suddenly, the guard moved. He abandoned his post by the door and launched himself across the room with incredible speed. People gasped as the tall Zeraxian vaulted over a table and landed with hardly a sound. The other 3 Krellvorn guards immediately moved to surround the Emperor, clearly confused by their companion's actions, but the green-scaled guard wasn't heading toward the Emperor. He was racing toward the suspicious server. "Look out!" Lily shouted, unable to stay quiet any longer. Several things happened at once. The server spun around, pulling a small silver device from his jacket. The green-scaled guard tackled him, to the ground with tremendous force. There was a flash of blue light and a sound like thunder that made Lily's ears hurt. People screamed. Someone grabbed Lily and pulled her under the table. It was Lieutenant Grant, who had been seated at a nearby table. "Stay down," the lieutenant ordered, shielding Lily with her body. From under the tablecloth, Lily could see people running in all directions. Security officers rushed forward with weapons drawn. Her father was shouting her name. "Dad, I'm here, under the table," she called. Captain Martinez dropped to his knees and looked under the table, his face pale with fear. "Thank God," he said, reaching for her. "Are you hurt?" "No, I'm okay," Lily said as her father pulled her out and hugged her tightly. "What happened?" she asked, looking over her father's shoulder. Security officers had formed a circle around something on the floor. She could see the green-scaled guard standing there, holding the server down with one foot on his back. "Some kind of attack," her father said, his voice shaking slightly. "But they caught him. We're safe now." More security officers rushed into the room. Some led the Emperor and other important people away, while others secured the area. The green-scaled guard stayed where he was, not moving until human officers took the server away in handcuffs. Only then did the guard straighten up and look around. His eyes found Lily, and he gave her a small nod before other Krellvorn surrounded him. They seemed to be asking him questions, their faces stern. "We need to get you out of here," Captain Martinez said to Lily, lifting her into his arms even though she was really too big to be carried. "But Dad," the guard, "Not now, Lily. We need to go somewhere safe." They were taken to a secure room in another part of the building. Other humans were there too, talking in worried voices about what had happened. Lily sat quietly in a corner, thinking about the green-scaled guard. Would he be in trouble for leaving his post? Had she done the right thing by showing him the signal? After what seemed like a very long time, an important-looking human officer came into the room. "The situation is under control," he announced. "The would-be assassin has been captured. He was carrying a banned energy weapon and has admitted to being part of the Zyraxian separatist movement." People in the room began talking all at once. Lily tugged on her father's sleeve. "What's a separatist?" she asked. "A group of Zyraxians who don't want their people to be friends with humans," her father explained quietly. "They think the Emperor is wrong to make agreements with us." The officer raised his hands for quiet. "There will be a special meeting in 1 hour with Earth and Zyraxian leaders. Captain Martinez, your presence is requested." He paused, looking at Lily. "And your daughters as well." Her father looked surprised. "My daughter? But why?" "The Emperor himself has asked for her," the officer said. "It seems she played an important role in today's events." Everyone in the room turned to look at Lily, who suddenly felt very small and shy. An hour later, she and her father were led to a small meeting room. Inside were just a few people: the President of Earth, 2 human security officers, Emperor Zaxtal, and 2 Krellvorn guards. One of them was the green-scaled guard, standing tall and straight though his armor was now dented in places. As they entered, the Emperor turned to look at Lily. Up close, he was even more impressive than she had thought. His scale colors shifted in the light, and his eyes were a deep purple color. "This is the child?" the Emperor asked in his deep voice. "Yes, Your Majesty," her father said, bowing slightly. "My daughter, Lily Martinez." The Emperor studied her for a moment. "Little one," he said, his voice softer now. "I am told that you helped prevent an attack today. Is this true?" Lily swallowed hard. I'm not sure, sir. I just saw that server acting strange and the guard seemed worried too, so I showed him the safety signal I read about in my book." "Safety signal?" her father asked, looking confused. The green-scaled guard spoke for the first time. "The ancient distress signal of my people, Captain. A gesture taught to Zyraxian children thousands of years ago and still known to all Krellvorn. I was surprised to see a human child use it." "Where did you learn this signal, little one?" the Emperor asked. "From a book about alien cultures," Lily said. "It had a whole chapter about Zyraxians." The Emperor made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Knowledge from a book saved lives today." He turned to the green-scaled guard. "Krellvor, Nix, you broke our most sacred protocol by leaving your post without direct evidence of danger. The guard, Nix, bowed his head. I accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, my emperor. Punishment? Lily blurted out, forgetting to stay quiet. But he stopped the bad guy. He saved you. The emperor's purple eyes settled on her again. Indeed he did. And it is true that the first and oldest duty of any Krelvorn is to protect the innocent, especially children. When Krelvor Nix saw you give the ancient signal, he understood that you had identified a threat none of us had seen. So, he's not in trouble? Lily asked hopefully. No, the emperor said. He is not. In fact, he has brought honor to the Krelvorn by showing that their dedication to protecting the innocent remains stronger than their dedication to mere protocol. Nix looked up, surprise clear on his scaled face. Captain Martinez, the emperor continued, turning to Lily's father, your daughter's quick thinking and knowledge have prevented what could have been a tragic event. The separatist has confessed that he planned to assassinate both myself and your president, which would have destroyed the peace between our worlds. Her father put his hand on Lily's shoulder, squeezing gently. I'm very proud of her, Your Majesty. As you should be, the emperor said. We will hold a ceremony tomorrow to honor both your daughter and Krelvor Nix for their actions today. As they left the meeting, Lily looked back at Nix. He was watching her with those golden eyes. This time, he definitely smiled at her, showing pointed teeth that should have been scary but somehow weren't. Lily smiled back, feeling happier than she had in a long time. She had made a difference today. And maybe, just maybe, she had also made a friend from another world. The next morning, Lily woke up early in the special guest room she shared with her father. She had trouble sleeping because she kept thinking about what had happened and the ceremony the emperor had mentioned. Dad? She called out. But the other bed in the room was empty. A note lay on his pillow. Lily picked it up and read it. Had to attend early meeting. Lieutenant Grant will come at 9 hours to help you get ready for the ceremony. Be good. Love, Dad. Lily looked at the clock. It was only 7:30. She had time to read or play games on her tablet, but she was too excited to focus. Instead, she got up and went to the window. Their room was on the 10th floor of the building, and she could see the city spread out below. People looked tiny from up here, going about their morning as if yesterday's excitement had never happened. Soft knock at the door surprised her. It was too early for Lieutenant Grant. Who is it? She called. Security escort for Lily Martinez. A woman's voice answered. Lily hesitated. Her father had told her never to open the door for strangers, even if they claimed to be security. I can't open the door, she said. My dad isn't here. We understand, the voice replied. We're here to escort you to breakfast. Your father is there waiting. We can verify our identity if you use the room's security monitor. Lily remembered the screen next to the door. She pressed the button her father had shown her, and the screen lit up. It showed 2 human security officers in uniform standing in the hallway. One held up an official ID card to the camera. Still cautious, Lily used the room phone to call her father. He answered right away. Dad, there are security people at the door saying they'll take me to breakfast with you. Yes, that's right, her father confirmed. I sent them. It's safe to go with them, but bring your tablet so you can call me if you need to. Feeling better, Lily quickly got dressed and opened the door. The officers smiled at her. Good morning, Miss Martinez, the female officer said. I'm Officer Chen, and this is Officer Rodriguez. We'll take you to the dining area. They led her to an elevator and down to a small dining room. Her father wasn't there, but sitting at the table was Krelvor Nix, the green-scaled guard. He was alone without his armor, wearing what looked like more casual Zyraxian clothes, though still formal by human standards. He stood up when Lily entered. Good morning, Lily Martinez, he said, his voice deep but gentle. Oh, Lily said, surprised. Hello, where's my dad? Officer Chen smiled. He'll join you shortly. He asked us to bring you here first. Krelvor Nix requested a chance to speak with you before the ceremony. The officers moved to stand by the door, giving them privacy, but still watching protectively. Please, Sit, Nick said, gesturing to the chair across from him. The table was set with breakfast foods, both human and Zyraxian. I hope this arrangement is acceptable. Lily climbed into the chair. It's okay, she said, still a bit nervous. Up close, his green scale patches were even more interesting. They formed patterns across his blue skin like islands on an ocean. Are those green scales rare? I read that most Zyraxians are just blue. Nick seemed surprised by the question. Yes, they are uncommon. Some call it a blessing from our ancestors. Others see it differently. He paused. I wish to thank you properly, Lily Martinez, for what you did yesterday. I just showed you the signal, Lily said, picking up a piece of toast from her plate. You're the one who stopped the bad guy. Without your warning, I would not have acted in time, Nick said. Our rules, our protocols, they are very strict. We must have clear evidence before we can break them. So the signal I showed you was enough evidence? Lily asked. Nix nodded. The safety signal is sacred to us. It predates our current protocols by thousands of years. When I saw a child use it, even a human child, I knew I must respond. He leaned forward slightly. What I do not understand is how you knew to use it. Lily explained about the book, showing him the page on her tablet where she had saved a picture of it. Remarkable, Nick said, looking at the image. This information is not commonly shared with outsiders. Is it a secret? Lily asked, worried now. Was I not supposed to know it? No, not a secret, Nix assured her. Just private, like a family tradition. He studied her for a moment. You are very observant, Lily Martinez. You noticed the server acting strangely when none of us did. My dad says I notice things other people miss, Lily said, feeling proud. He says I'd make a good security officer someday. I believe he is right, Nix agreed. In fact, that is partly why I wish to speak with you. After today's ceremony, I will be taking on a new role. You won't be a Krellvorn anymore? Lily asked, surprised. I will always be Krellvorn, Nix said firmly. But the Emperor has given me a special assignment. I am to lead a new joint security team of both Zyraxians and humans. We will protect important people from both worlds and help stop people like the separatists who want to ruin the peace between us. That sounds important, Lily said. It is, Nix agreed. And I would be honored if you would help me. Lily nearly dropped her toast. Me? But I'm just a kid. Exactly, Nix said, his golden eyes bright. You see things differently than adults do. You notice details we miss, and you are not yet bound by too many rules that limit your thinking. He held up a hand before she could speak. I do not mean you would be in danger or face threats, but perhaps you could help us understand how to work better together, humans and Zyraxians. Before Lily could answer, the door opened and her father came in. He looked surprised to see Nix there. Captain Martinez, Nix said, standing and giving a formal bow. I hope you do not object to my speaking with your daughter. Not at all, her father said. Though he gave Lily a questioning look, she smiled to show him everything was fine. I trust you've been discussing today's ceremony and other matters, Nix said. I have made a proposal to Lily about helping with cultural understanding between our peoples. With your permission, of course. Her father raised his eyebrows. What kind of proposal? As Nix explained his idea, Lily watched her father's face. At first he looked doubtful, but as Nix continued, explaining that Lily would have no security, duties, and would never be in danger, his expression softened. It would be more like a cultural ambassador role, Nix finished, and only when she is already with you at diplomatic events. What do you think, Lily? Her father asked. Is this something you'd want to do? Lily nodded eagerly. I think it would be fun, and I could learn more about the Zyraxians. Her father smiled. Then I see no reason to object. After the ceremony, we can discuss the details. Speaking of the ceremony, Nix said, we should prepare. It begins in 1 hour, and by Zyraxian tradition, we must arrive early. As they finished breakfast and prepared to leave, Lily felt excited. not just about being honored at the ceremony, but about her new role. She, Lily Martinez, was going to help humans and aliens understand each other better. And it had all started because she read a book and noticed something nobody else did. The ceremony hall was the largest room Lily had ever seen. Hundreds of humans and Zyraxians filled the seats. At the front was a raised platform with two ornate chairs, one for the Earth President and one for the Zyraxian Emperor. Lily stood backstage with her father and Krelvor Nix. Her father had helped her get ready in a new blue dress that matched the color of Zyraxian scales. Nix wore his full Krelvorn armor, polished until it shone like a mirror. "Are you nervous?" her father asked, straightening her collar. "A little," Lily admitted. Her stomach felt fluttery. "It is natural to feel nervous," Nix said. "I feel it too, though we are trained not to show it." "You get nervous?" Lily asked, surprised that the tall, strong alien could feel scared like she did. Nix nodded. "All beings feel fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, but acting despite it." A human official approached them. "It's time," she said. "Please follow me." They walked onto the platform as the audience grew quiet. Lily saw the Earth President and Zyraxian Emperor already seated in their chairs. Between them stood a smaller table with two objects covered by cloths, one red, one blue. The President stood first. "Today, we honor two individuals whose actions yesterday prevented a terrible tragedy and strengthened the bond between our worlds." The Emperor stood next. "One, a trained warrior who broke with tradition to protect both our peoples. The other, a child who saw what adults could not and had the courage to act." Lily and Nix were guided to stand before the leaders. The President spoke again. "Krelvor Nix of the Zyraxian Empire, for your swift action and willingness to put safety above protocol, Earth honors you." She lifted the red cloth, revealing a medal on a chain. "This is the Earth Alliance Medal of Valor, our highest honor for those who protect others at great personal risk." The President placed the medal around Nix's neck. He bowed deeply, first to the President, then to his Emperor. Next, the Emperor spoke. "Lily Martinez of Earth, for your knowledge, observation, and courage, the Zyraxian Empire honors you." He lifted the blue cloth, revealing what looked like a small crystal star that glowed with its own light. "This is the Star of Zyrax, given only to those who have performed extraordinary service to our people." The Emperor handed the crystal to Lily. It felt warm in her hands and seemed to pulse with light in time with her heartbeat. "With the permission of your father," the Emperor continued, "you are also named as the first junior ambassador between our worlds. You will help us better understand each other and build a stronger future together." The audience erupted in applause. Lily felt her face grow warm, but she stood tall as her father had taught her. She looked out at the crowd and saw Lieutenant Grant and other crew members from her father's ship cheering for her. After the ceremony, there was a reception with food and drinks. Many people came to talk to Lily and Nix. Some just wanted to say congratulations, while others asked questions about what had happened. Lily let Nix do most of the talking, still feeling shy with so many people around. Later, as the crowd thinned, the Emperor approached them again. He spoke quietly to Nix in the Zyraxian language. Nix looked surprised, then pleased and nodded. "What did he say?" Lily asked when the Emperor had moved away. "He has given me permission to show you something special," Nix said. "If your father agrees, I would like to take you both to our ship in orbit." Lily's eyes widened. "Your spaceship, really?" Her father looked surprised too. "That's quite an honor. Civilians aren't usually allowed on Zyraxian vessels." "The ambassador is not a typical civilian," Nix said, looking at Lily with respect in his golden eyes. "And there is something there I believe she would enjoy seeing." An hour later, they were on a shuttle heading up to the massive Zyraxian ship in orbit around Earth. Lily pressed her face to the window, watching her planet grow smaller below them. Even though she had been on spaceships before because of her father's job, this was different. This was an alien ship. When they docked, Nix led them through gleaming corridors. Zyraxian crew members stopped and bowed as they passed. They reached a door with special markings on it. This is a place very few non-Zyraxians have ever entered, Nix explained as the door slid open. Inside was a large round room with a glass dome ceiling that showed the stars. In the center of the room was a garden with strange plants Lily had never seen before, and there, playing among the plants, were small blue-scaled children. Our youngest ones, Nix explained. The children of crew members who serve on long missions. Lily watched in wonder as the Zyraxian children played games that looked both alien and familiar. They chased each other, built towers with blocks, and sang songs in their language. One small child, younger than the others, noticed them and pointed. This child was different. He had patches of green scales like Nix. "My son Vel," Nix said softly. "He carries the same blessing as I do." The young Zyraxian came running over, stopping just short of them. He looked curiously at Lily. "Vel, this is Lily Martinez, the human child who helped us yesterday," Nix said in English so Lily could understand. "And this is her father, Captain Martinez." Vel made a formal bow that seemed too grown up for his small size. Then, to Lily's surprise, he formed the safety signal with his hand and brought it to his chest. "What's he doing?" Lily's father asked. "He is thanking her," Nix explained. "I told my family what happened. The safety signal, when used this way, can also mean, 'I see you as a protector.'" Lily smiled and returned the gesture to Vel. The small, green-patched child broke into a happy grin, showing pointed teeth like his father's. "We thought you might like to spend some time here," Nix said. "Children often understand each other better than adults, even when they come from different worlds." For the next hour, Lily played with the Zyraxian children. Though they didn't speak the same language, they found ways to communicate through games and gestures. Vel stayed close to her, teaching her a Zyraxian game that was similar to hopscotch but with patterns that changed colors when you stepped on them. As they prepared to return to Earth, Lily's father pulled Nix aside for a quiet conversation. Lily couldn't hear what they were saying, but both looked serious, then pleased. "What were you talking about?" Lily asked her father as they walked back to the shuttle. "Making arrangements," he answered with a smile. "Starting next month, I'll be working with Nix's team as the human security liaison. That means you'll have more chances to visit the ship and see your new friends." Lily couldn't contain her excitement. "Really? We'll come back?" "Many times," her father promised. "Being an ambassador is an important job. You'll need to learn a lot about Zyraxian children if you're going to help our worlds understand each other." As their shuttle left the Zyraxian ship, Lily held the glowing crystal star in her hands and looked back at the massive vessel. Just days ago, she had simply been Captain Martinez's daughter, tagging along to a boring diplomatic event. Now she was Junior Ambassador Lily Martinez, with an important job and friends from another world, and it had all started with a secret gesture to a royal guard.